So from the top.
Okay.
5, 6,
Welcome.
7, 8.
5, 6, 7. That should be our intro.
5, 6, 7, 8. And pose. Welcome to the Lore Zone. We're back. And so are you. Maybe. Who knows where you went? We've decided after a quick board meeting that today we'll be discussing
Business,
girl, because we are
Girl
bosses. And Callie and I are both small business owners and freelance workers and independent contractors and literally just trying to fucking stay alive.
We refuse to work for the man, therefore we are the man.
I know I get a lot of questions in my personal comments and DMs asking how I started my small business, Peach Honey, which is something I have shied away from on TikTok because I can't talk about it on TikTok. I get shadow banned.
Same.
And so in Callie's business being sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll. We are
a little red taped. But, you know, we can answer all those questions that we've been getting about how we started our businesses and why we do what we do and, you know, some of the troubles that we face and some of the wins that we have. Because it's good to celebrate the wins when you're a small business owner and you literally only talk to yourself and nobody's there to cheer you on all the time.
Yeah, the board meeting.
The board meeting in our head is...
She's on my board.
We're on each other's board.
Yeah.
I think that's been a really nice thing that we basically launched our businesses at the same time. Both of our businesses are COVID baby and babies, plural, and
twins, if you will.
pretend, separated at birth.
Yeah.
Had one brain cell split into two things.
And then they did a little parent trap with the two of us.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure did. And we've really been able to lean on each other through it and help. And I attribute a lot of my success to Callie being someone that I can bounce ideas off of and workshop things. And I think we both kind of have a gift where when we speak to each other about each other's businesses, the veil of ego and fear disappears because there's no stakes in it. I can just go, oh my God, what about this? Because it doesn't go through the normal process in my mind of things that my own business goes through, which feels fearful and like, how do I monetize and what do I do? And so that's been really nice for both of us.
But yeah, so why don't we
Together
do a thing where we tell the people what we do, how we do it, why we do it.
Yeah.
Basically everything you just said, but take it away.
Take it. Oh, you
Peach
want me to go
Honey.
first?
Yeah.
Well, I own a small business called Peach Honey. It is a line of CBD pre-rolls, soon to also be CBD gummies, which I'm launching in a couple weeks. I've never slept better. I've been eating them all this week and I've never slept better. I launched this business in COVID 2020. It was originally going to be a CBD skincare company. And yeah, remember I formulated all these products and I took on small investments from some family and to go to the R&D and build these products and go to a branding company and build out a brand and then put in my 2 weeks at my job. And basically my last day of work was March 13th, 2020. And I was like, fuck. What am I going to do? I had a business plan. I had an investor on board and I had left my job ready to just go 100 miles an hour and the world shuts down. And to a very obvious thought that anyone could have, the world didn't need $60 body shimmer at that time. And
Debatable,
but probably a tough sell. And so
there's always a market for that.
There's a market for everything.
Read the room.
It was a real read the room kind of moment. And luckily I was introduced to CBD flower and I took one hit of it. And at this time during COVID, I'm in my second year of sobriety. We all know I enjoy a glass of Cabernet now, but for 6 years I didn't drink. And I was smoking hella weed during COVID. And it wasn't productive. It wasn't helpful. But I loved the oral fixation and the ritual of smoking a joint. So when I was introduced to CBD flower, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, this is the light bulb moment. And so I kind of pivoted everything.
Queen of the pivots. I was just about to say
just
that.
Fucking skirt, you know? And I microdosed mushrooms for a month. I built my website in a day. Still don't know how I did that. Yeah. Remember Coyote?
I did that too.
Yeah, we did mushrooms. Most productive month of our lives.
Yeah.
And I built Peach Honey, you know, from what we see today. And it's been 4 years running. And as of right now, as we're recording this, could be more when we're done, I have had a very viral moment with the business and with my social media that has resulted in a ton of sales. I'm still trying to get everything out the door, but that was like 4 years in the making. And I feel like a lot of people don't see the rev up to it. Yeah, the making of it and the struggles that you face along the way. And it's so easy to get discouraged. There was so many times where I'm like, what am I even doing? This is just a weird little Etsy store, basically. I'm like, what am I doing with this? Like trying to keep up the facade of this is a legit business. But I'm so glad I stayed the course. And yeah, this is Peach Honey.
Give her your money.
Please help.
Actually, we don't have to beg anymore. You guys are already giving.
You know what? Actually, keep it.
Yeah,
I can't keep up with the orders.
Yeah, actually, she's about to sell out, so give her like 20 minutes.
Can you just give me a couple days?
Yeah.
I'll catch up. I swear to
She's
God.
schwitzing over here.
And so that's my baby, and you know, it's nice.
I feel like I'm a very anxious person, so I feel like you made the product for me. That's what I'm gonna tell myself.
Yeah, I did.
She said, "This bitch is crazy."
And I said she needs this more than anyone, and now she has organic Xanax.
Yeah,
so.
identify with the message, and the branding is amazing.
Thank you, honey.
And yeah, everything well deserved.
Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of the coolest part, is to hear something like, obviously from your best friend, that she loves the product and she's relates to it and needs it, and then to get reviews from people that go, you know, I stopped drinking and this helps so much, or this helps with my anxiety, or I needed this, like. To know that I'm making something that is a positive impact in at least a couple people's lives is like, okay, Cow Pal, tell them all about Sorry Dad, because I want to know more.
Where do we even begin?
Everywhere.
Well, so I quit my job right before I knew the world was going to shut down, and I quit my job to pursue art in general, but painting was like the obsession and what I had been focusing on. And then right after I quit my job, I got my first commission, which was, I signed an NDA, so let's give it a sec. We can't afford lawyers. Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot that was your first commission. That was wild.
Yeah, so I was like, I've made it immediately, but I didn't. I learned a lot of lessons that first end of 2019 of like, make sure to get contracts, you know, kind of protect. Anyways,
you don't know what you don't know at the time.
Yeah, and I was just flying high. I was like, these are crazy opportunities. I'm obsessed with what I do. Funny thing, when you turn your favorite thing into your job, there is that balance that you need to figure out. And I think I was really overdoing it. Like physically standing at a canvas, painting 6-foot canvases, my back started hurting.
Oh, I remember you would call me when you would do stuff and you're what was the Kaylani? Yeah, that was like a rush job, huge canvas, and you were like, I literally can't get up. My back is in so much pain.
I was bedridden for like 2 days after that, because I had a commission. I had 48 hours to finish it. Hyper realistic 6-foot painting of someone covered in tattoos. Anyway, so when we went lockdown mode for COVID, I was like, I need to find a way to make art while sitting down. And so I bought an iPad in January of 2020. And then obviously the world shut down. We kind of hibernated together, got really creative. I think we were just we weren't even like, let's be creative. It was like,
I think we just needed we wanted something to do and to feel like we were moving forward.
Yeah.
I think we were just, the world was at such a standstill. Obviously you were there.
Yeah.
And I think both of us wanted to feel like there was, at least for me, maybe like something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And so we both just sat here and worked on like investor decks.
Yeah.
We had no sales. We had no money.
Yeah. No data.
No data. We were like, this is going to be huge.
Yeah, I'm like,
buy now before it leaves. Yeah. Hurry, come on down.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Invest in an artist who has never monetized a single fucking thing.
Give me all your money. Yeah, we just wanted, I feel like we wanted to have something to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. And just, something to do. I think I just wanted to doodle, but I started making these line drawings that were kind of erotic, and it was making some noise on my personal Instagram. And I was like, I need to find somewhere else to put these, because I'm confused about my personal brand. So
you're confused. I'm confused.
Yeah. Sorry Dad was born basically in this room. So it was just an art project, and I was just curating a mood board. That was all it was. And then during COVID, I think, if you've listened before, you know this, so I'll breeze by it, but I started painting people's nudes digitally, and she was my first one. And then I posted about it, and I just got an influx of not only my friends, but people I've never met just sending me their nudes. And at first I was charging $5 for them.
Oh my God, I forgot the original price tag was $5.
I was like, Venmo me $5. And now I've like kind of more perfected the aesthetic of it and the process of it. Obviously it's a little pricier now, but
rightfully so.
It kind of morphed into this self-reflection. Like I was getting women, men, trans people. I was getting, everyone was sending me their nudes. And as someone who has been so hard on myself with how I look and my body and all that stuff, I was just seeing all these different types of bodies just freely share themselves with me. And I didn't see a flaw in any one of them. It made me feel really good. I actually started taking nudes at that point. And I was like, I don't know who I'm sending these to, but you know, that's when I started like being really provocative on Sorry Dad. And it was very freeing. And obviously you get the hate comments of men who've never spoken to a woman, but
Good Lord.
the response was really like, people got it. It wasn't this thirst trap. I mean, sometimes, but that wasn't
And
the
let
goal.
it rock. It
People
was
understood
fun.
like, I screenshot every DM that has come in, and it's just women being like, you've helped me express myself. You've helped me open up. And, you know, Sorry Dad has been taken down from the internet 3 times now. And I thought my whole world was crumbling. And then I have a backup account, and I would get all these messages, like hundreds of messages being like, you saved my marriage. I'm like, sometimes I think of it as a silly little art project. And then I saved them all in an album. I have to go read those things and be like, no, this is a community and it's really cool. So long story short, that was a long story.
No, I think you, I loved every second of it.
But in terms of what is happening with the business now, I feel like everything Sorry Dad has been for the past 5 years has been amazing. But I am at a crossroads where I need to figure out what the next 5 or the next 1 look like. You know what I mean? So doing some brainstorming. She's been encouraging me and getting me out of my own head a little bit. So that's been nice, but we'll see what happens. Like right now we have the usual stuff that's been there. But yeah, something new's a brewing. I just don't know what it is yet. You know
I
what
think
mean?
the people are going to be really excited about it
Yeah.
because I mean, what Callie didn't mention is with such a captive fan base and audience that she also has how many people now with your line drawings tattooed on them?
Oh my God. I think almost 100.
Yeah. People literally tattooed her logo, Sorry Dad, across their neck.
Oh my God. She's my favorite. I just got goosebumps thinking about that.
Like,
Yeah.
I think what's really incredible about Callie and her business is, like she said, she's an artist. It's such an expression of art. And I, like you said, I think people really connect with it. I think people resonate. I think just like you had sort of this second coming of age later in life to work through traumas and things that you struggled with and body image and things that we all deal with. And you allowed people to have that. And so, you know, I know you're hard on yourself sometimes because you're like, I just make t-shirts and, you know, all these things, but you've created a community and an environment for people to feel safe in. And that's so much bigger. And yeah, they show it by buying t-shirts. You've created a really cool group of people that like have, like you said, found themselves, you know, found salvation in some way, found a saved marriage, found, you know, a saved sense of self through the art that you create, which is really amazing. Well, I think let's start with, in starting a business, some of the biggest problems that arose that we might be able to help others with if they're looking to start a business.
I literally just had a girl email Sorry Dad, loving the shirts I use, asking. I've had a bunch of people ask me what blanks those are, and obviously freely share what they are. So if you want to know, DM me. They are really good. But she asked if I had any advice in terms of, you know, wanting to create merch or start kind of monetizing a brand. And I think that everyone's going to want to buy what I want to wear and what I want to buy, which not a lie, but I think, you know, getting your audience involved, and I know they say the best thing an artist can do is ignore their audience, but I think when you put art in kind of like in a business, you know what I mean? Like getting their feedback and getting their involvement is kind of nice, especially when you're kind of relying on them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think with you in particular, you, like you said, it's a community.
Yeah.
And so there's people that are very engaged, you know, and want to maybe see certain things. I think taking feedback, like I've done that plenty of times with Peach Honey. I'm like, hey, looking at launching either an ashtray, a joint holder, or, you know, a lighter, and let people vote on it and tell them, you know, tell you what you want. And I think you just get to decipher then, okay, yeah, maybe you guys all want this, but you don't even know what I have up my sleeve or something. And,
grain of salt.
Yeah, grain of salt. But it's fun to get people involved. And I think people want to feel a part of something.
Yeah.
You know, they want to feel like they have input on the things that they buy and the products that get brought to them, and, you know, what they're
and I
a part
think
of.
you will spend a little bit of money testing, you know, learning how your business looks and what your people want. But it's all part of the process. And I say lean on pre-orders to kind of test that out. I think I should have done that more often. Instead, I was buying inventory and sitting on it for a while. But I think if you don't have capital or you're pinching pennies a little bit, pre-order, test it out with your audience, pre-order,
Yeah.
and then fund it from there. And just, if you are ordering inventory over pre-order, maybe just my rule of thumb is like 20% over. So you have a little bit of leeway, you know, if it pops off, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could have used that advice when I first started Peach Honey. I think that was my biggest learn was when you first launch. I mean, you have no concept of what you're doing. At least I didn't. I dropped out of college. I moved to LA. Like, I have no formal training in what I'm doing. And in my head, I'm launching a business. So it was this great lofty concept to me, and that meant, but for some reason in my head, I needed 1,000 of everything.
It doesn't sound like a lot.
It doesn't sound like a lot.
I used to order 75 of everything, and I was like,
Whatever.
that's not a lot. That's a lot. When you see it,
It's so
75
much.
sweatshirts is like a whole room.
Oh, literally. I live in a 750 square foot, 1-bedroom apartment, and I make do. But I got this thing in my head where I needed 1,000 of everything. And I remember my mom, she gave me the best advice. She's a business owner as well. She has a jewelry line.
Shout out
Lovely. JoJo, Shoefly 505. Love
the
of my life.
flyest out there.
She's so cute. But she just kept going, you know, you can start small. And she started her jewelry line with a single ring. And then she just kind of grew it from there. And now it's this huge, you know, line of jewelry. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, fucking right, dude. I need to like go to the moon. I need to have all this stuff because I'm starting a business and I'm going to open it up and everyone's just going to buy it. And then I'm going to buy a Birkin.
Everyone's just going to flood in. That's what I always think. Anytime I drop something, everyone's just going to flood in.
It's going to be a flood. And I'm just going to post about it once and then everyone's going to buy it.
It's more of a drizzle.
Yeah, it's more of a drizzle.
But then I feel like that's with everything though. Like every successful person, you don't see the drizzle.
You don't see the drizzle.
Yeah.
And so like within that, don't be afraid when you're starting to start small. Nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. So if you actually just have 10 pieces of inventory, but you're presenting like you're this huge brand, nobody has any idea. And so, but in my head, I was like, well, in order to be big, I need to start big. And I spent all of my working capital on tons of inventory and then was like, oh, oops. Fuck.
I got rent.
Yeah, I've got rent and I've got all this stuff now that I'm sitting on. And yeah, day one, it's like everyone you went to high school with is like, oh, I'll support. And then it just goes crickets.
Yeah.
You know?
Even if you post like a poll of would you 100% buy this or maybe not for me?
Yeah.
I would get thousands of yeses. But there is a huge leap from pressing a poll on a story and giving your credit card. And not that, you know, that's just the nature of it. And we're in trying times. So just be conservative with it. Selling out is a flex. So if you order 10 things and sell out, okay, next time order 20.
Yeah.
And, you know, your community, your customer base will understand if there's a delay. I remember one time I definitely underestimated that I am my own muse tea. And I don't know. Amazing. It's just the community gets it, will understand, you know, if the assembly line isn't, you know, 100% isn't Amazon, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think definitely in this day and age, like, and really for our brands too, it's such a personal experience. Like me and Peach Honey are inextricably linked, and you know that. And I'm communicating with you through the page, and so there's this human element, and I think people want to engage with brands like that now. They don't want to follow a product; they want to follow a person. Yeah, and so having that line of communication open with people. I remember when I first launched. It's CBD. It's a high-risk payment processor, and Shopify advertises that you can host your CBD business on their website. And so I thought that meant you could use their payment processor. Au contraire, those little fuckers. And so I launched, and I remember being on the phone with a Shopify assistant because I was having trouble with the domain. And he was like, oh, hey, they're gonna shut down your payment processor. Like, you can't take payments. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I was literally up and running for 3 days before they shut me down. And then I went a month without having an active payment processor as I tried to scramble behind the scenes. And it's, you know, you have no sales. So a lot of banking options that take CBD payments are like, you need minimum 10,000. And luckily I eventually found Square. I just kept asking and figuring it out. But I remember being like, no one's ever going to buy from me again. They're going to think I'm a fraud because they can't pay on the website. And I remember standing here in my living room and setting my phone up and was going to film some sort of sad testimonial to go, help. Thank you for your support. And I am working behind the scenes. And I remember talking to my mom about it. And she goes, Paisley, nobody's thinking about it. And that was the best piece of advice. Like, it's such a vulnerable experience to put your business out into the world and to put your baby out on display. And then to think that there's all these eyes on you and that you have to perform a certain way. But nobody has a clue what's going on.
Yeah. Nobody's thinking about it as much as you.
Nobody's thinking about it as much as you are. And to just, stay the course. If you call attention to it, then they're going to notice.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things too, which probably leads me to my next learn, which is you don't know what you don't know. And I have so many friends in my life throughout the years who have come up with amazing concepts or really good ideas, either in what they want to do for work or, content wise or whatever. And then there's like the going through the door. And I think a lot of people are afraid to take that leap. I wish sometimes my brain worked that way. I'm so impulsive that I could probably take some more time doing some research and planning.
We're the opposite.
We're the complete opposite in that. She's so good at doing research and planning and thinking of like maybe a couple things that could go wrong. And so how do I prepare for that? And I'm like, this feels good. I'm going to go.
But I think of too many things that can go wrong and then I don't do anything. So,
we've got to balance each other out in that. And so, I think going through the door, there's just going to be so many things that you get to learn and experience. I've been doing this for 4 years and it's the most successful it's been in the last couple of months. And I'm still learning stuff every day with it.
Yeah.
And it's a sense of accomplishment when you're like it, when you problem solve, when you're running something by yourself and you can't rely on others and you go, well, I've got to figure this out or nobody else will. It's such a moment of pride for me to go, boom, did it. And that feels really good.
Yeah, everything that has come your way, you just figure it out.
You just figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to touch on what you said about, you're intrinsically linked with the company. Like, I feel like I was too intrinsically linked with my company for a while, especially when I got taken down multiple times because I was like, well, then I'm taken down. I don't have any purpose. I'm bad. You know what I mean?
Kicks you right in the heart.
And then I think if you have a brand that's online and there's a big audience, it's hard for me to detach, like we've talked about, the comment section of like, I could just post a row of tweets and if someone says something bad, I take it personally. But I'm like, first of all, none of these tweets are even mine.
First of all, wait a minute, what am I
just
sad about?
Screenshotted these. But so I'm learning to kind of be intrinsically linked, but also remove myself when it's not productive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
to not take it personally.
Yeah. Being on the internet is
It's a weird landscape and it's such a necessity to operating a business today. Like you can't not be on socials. Like, but like to be successful, especially as a product driven business these days, you have to be online. And I think you and I kind of almost took like reverse paths where when I started Peach Honey, I was like, okay, I have to kind of be the face of it right now because nobody else will. And this is how I'm going to get off the brand. But eventually I'll take a step back.
Yeah.
I don't need to, there was this almost this like bit of shame with it of I shouldn't want to be the face of it. Like I should be.
I went through that too.
More successful than that where I don't need to be like pushing it. Like, I don't know what it was. I think also probably an ex-boyfriend gave me a hard time about it. And so I was like, no. Eventually I'll take a step back.
Also, you're too vain.
Yeah. Why do you have to market your products just with your face? I'm like, because it's a good one, bitch.
And it's free labor, bitch.
And it's free labor. And people pay good money for it.
And it works.
It fucking works. And I finally released that. And the more I've ingrained myself and the more I've put myself at the forefront of it, all while not taking it personally if someone says something mean, which is something I have to do on my own personal socials or the business.
Yeah. You're good at that.
The better it's been.
Yeah.
It took time.
I think you've kind of been the face of Sorry Dad here and there.
Every once in a while. Oh, yeah. If Cal asks me to be in a photo shoot, I go, what time and where? I'm fucking down.
It is so convenient having a perfect looking friend. All my friends are so perfect looking. I feel like
you're perfect looking.
Every one of my friends has modeled for Sorry Dad.
It's such a fun thing.
Yeah.
And I'm always so in awe of you when you produce those shoots. Like they were all like so professional, so amazing, so fun, and like really high quality, good stuff.
Yeah. I think the second I removed myself from Sorry Dad, not on purpose, it just kind of happened, like stopped being the model, like modeling and putting photos of myself. I do feel like the link with my community kind of like people didn't realize who I was. When they were DMing, they didn't know if it was like a team or someone thought a man ran that page. I'm like, hello?
In what?
I cut my hair, but hello? I did have one person comment one single bad thing when I launched like my new hair on Sorry Dad, and it kind of threw me for a little. My own, like a follower of mine, and I was like, I gotta have thicker skin than this, you know?
Well, and I don't even know if it's about having thicker skin. Like it's okay. Like people say some foul shit to us online, like especially some of the men in my comments
for no reason.
And I think I've allowed myself to go, that hurt my feelings because I don't want to be desensitized to hatred. Like, I'm a soft little delicate bird, and I will always be, because I think also you learn from that, and it's made me more compassionate, you know. And it's not about being like tough and like, oh, that didn't hurt me. It's about invalidating who that person is because of how hard you've worked to be here. Because you can go, well, okay, you can sit there behind your phone and you can say something cruel to me, but what are you doing with your day? Because I'm over here busting my fucking ass. I'm running this business. I'm running social media for 3 different brands, and I'm running my own personal accounts. And any project that come across my desk, I go, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I know who I am, and I know how hard I'm working, and I know that I'm really proud of what I'm doing. And so, sorry, your like no face burner account wants to sit here and be like, well, you don't even and just and it's like, oh, I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Your feeling isn't a fact.
A sick one, dude.
Yeah.
Real original.
Yeah.
But I just think, you know, if you're looking to put yourself out there and start a business, yes, it's going to be a deeply vulnerable thing. Yes, there's going to be some rocks thrown that you're going to have to kind of take on the chin, because you're doing something that people
wish they were doing.
Wish they would.
Yeah.
And don't always feel confident. And you know, it's the Franklin D. Roosevelt quote, like the man in the arena, you know, it's like, that resonated me so much. You step into the arena and there's going to be people in the stands and they're going to throw rocks at you, but they're fucking sitting in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
My other piece of advice for anyone starting a business, at least in my case, and I think it's different for everybody, I know it was different for you, was you don't have to quit your day job right away. And that was part of my, like, I think hope and slight delusion in my head was that, again, you open the business and the floodgates pour in, and then you make all the money and you're fine
Immediately.
Yeah. And I think looking back on it, I didn't go full-time into Peach Honey. And even, I mean, saying full-time is a bit of a stretch. Like, yes, I am working full-time, but I also still have like 3 other jobs because I have a shopping addiction.
The world we live in
That's
today.
the world we live in today, and I like nice clothes.
Yeah.
I didn't go full-time until last May. So this May will be a year that I have not been in corporate or worked another crazy job. But I being financially dependent on your small business from day one, I think for me personally would have skewed how I looked at the business. And I never wanted to think, oh, I've got to sell these joints because I need to make rent. Now, that being said, it was nice to have that sort of grace period where I could go, I just want to do this because it's fun. And I just want to do this because I love it. And I want to see how people relate to it. And I'm okay. At the end of the day, I can still eat. I can still keep a roof over my head. It also created this big bit of, I wish I would have taken the leap a little bit sooner and just really trusted myself. Because I think it put me in this box where I'm like, this could never make the money.
I think
that
the
I
timing was divine.
I do too now. I do
Looking
too now.
back.
Looking back on it all, yeah. But I'm really proud of myself for taking the leap. So I think, you know, having that bit of like grit and hustle. I mean, you hear about it all the time from different entrepreneurs that are starting businesses in their garage and working all that. Like, that is very real. You were going to spend, I've spent a lot of all-nighters and there's, you know, sacrifice in it, but it's so rewarding. Like, I don't think twice about working 14-hour days because I need to fill orders.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for like the hustle that it gave me and kind of the world that it opened up to know that I have that kind of bandwidth to take more on.
And it doesn't feel like 14 hours when there's not a cubicle around you.
There's not a cubicle and there's not somebody breathing down your neck that you don't even fucking like.
The man. You are the man now.
Literally the man. Yeah. And we won't even go there because NDAs, but one day.
One day when we're rich enough to just pay the fee.
Pay the fee. I'm so close. There's a fee associated with the greatest piece of tea you guys will ever hear. And we're moments
I'm
away
like,
from
I didn't sign
this.
it.
Yeah, Cal didn't sign it. But I think, you know, don't quit your day job right away, and don't get down on yourself if it isn't making $30,000 a month too. Like, that's what I really thought was going to happen. I thought I listened to all the how I built this with Guy Raz, and I opened a business, and that's how you make all the money.
Yeah.
And it's a
1,
grind.
2, 3.
Yeah. And to just trust that up and down.
Yeah.
You know,
it's so funny. I had a very different
bit of a different journey.
So I worked in corporate at very high stress sales jobs in different industries and different size companies for like a decade. I mean, with other jobs kind of sprinkled in there as well. When I quit my job, I'm very lucky to come from a well-off background, you know, and I wasn't like super spoiled, but I was very privileged, I guess you could say. And they kind of, you know, 10 years into post-college of grinding, you know, building a startup in New York on a startup salary is like a whole nother level. But when I came to them, I came to my mom one morning and I was like kind of having a little panic attack before work at my corporate job. And I had started painting for a year already within my corporate job. And I was like, I'm complacent in both. Like, I'm doing nothing at my corporate job. I mean, I'm doing enough for them not to notice I'm doing
You're moving
nothing.
your mouse so it doesn't fall asleep, and you're clicking in the.
They think I'm doing stuff. Like,
and you're just opening Excel and closing it.
Yeah, if they listen to this, like, you guys kept calling me into meetings, and I would think this is it. This is where they fire me, and they're like, we want to create a whole new position because you're so good at it. I'm like, what the? Anyways,
I'm just on chat all day. I'm not doing anything.
And at that point, I'm obsessed with painting again, and I picked it up, and getting a lot of good reactions from it, and I was like, oh, maybe I could do this for my job. Super naive thought to have, but anyways, my mom was like, you know what, you're complacent in both, you need to pick one. And I was like, no brainer, I'm gonna be an artist full time. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just really grateful for a family that is supportive in that way, and they have the resources to help me when I need it. And I think I could have been more responsible, but I'm so grateful they allowed me to take risks. You know 100%. What I mean? So,
and look at all that you've learned from it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, yeah. At the end of the day, I would take her advice, be a little more cautious. But if you have really good community around you, whether it's family or friends, you just read the room.
Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to jump off the cliff, walk through the door, do the thing.
Yeah.
Go throw yourself into the arena.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Yeah, so we did it.
Yeah. What's your dream vision for Sorry Dad? Where do you want it to be? What's like the pinnacle of what Sorry Dad could be for you?
I would like to get to a place where obviously I want it to be financially fruitful, sure. But there's also another timeline in which I'm also working on this other company that is in the tech space that maybe could be that wealth driver for me. And then Sorry Dad can become my little art baby again. And where I'm not, I feel like I've had to kind of maneuver within community guidelines and all this stuff. And it really kind of waters down the creativity when you have to dodge bullets like that. And I feel like if I'm not so afraid of my account being taken down every 5 minutes, then, and I'm not relying on it to pay my bills, then it might become fun for me again. So it would be cool if that it also would be cool if it became really financially sustainable, but
of course.
Yeah. And then I think if you follow Sorry Dad, you've seen it's like black and white. I did that initially to kind of water down the sexual aspect of it because skin tones kind of evoke that. Because the imagery is so erotic, I wanted it to kind of be more digestible where people are kind of like, Mm-hmm. But I think this next era, I want some color in there, and I don't know what that looks like, but
I'm so excited.
I know I'm like, she's the color queen, so she'll be in every meeting with the board. But I kept asking her, I'm like, will they be mad if I break this, 1800 post black and white streak? And she's like, nobody cares. Like nobody's thinking about it.
Mad at you.
Yeah,
you're gonna be like, how dare you take away this?
How dare you add color into our lives?
What? Who in the fuck?
Yeah. So I think I need to break out into the next version of Sorry Dad, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. I don't know. I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this next version. I mean, you and I have had like a lot of powwows offline of what this next phase looks like for you and this like transformative space that you're in, and I am always so in awe of your creativity. And I was just talking to my dad today about, how much you've sunk your teeth into this podcast and the branding of it and thinking about things I never would have come up with and how natural and easy it comes to you and how intuitive it almost is. It's just like, oh yeah, we just do this, this, and this. And I'm like, that's genius.
I feel like that's how it's right and we're doing the right thing. Because I said that in the beginning of Sorry Dad, where I was like, nothing has flowed out of me so naturally and easily. Like it almost feels it's too easy. And that's, I think when you put us together on this wavelength, then it's easy. Like it's evolving into what it's supposed to be. Just kind of, Sorry Dad, I didn't have a plan. We just knew we wanted to do it.
Concepts of a plan.
Yeah. Concepts of a plan. We visually didn't know what it looked like. And I feel like it came easy.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just so grateful to be on this experience this journey with you and on this board. I love this board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I had a moment the other day. I was on live on TikTok and I was talking about the pod and I'm like, call it hormones. I got all like verklempt thinking about that I get to do this project with you, and that you're my best friend, and that you have seen me at every high and low point in my life, and you just accept me for who I am,
Because
and
you're
then
perfect.
we're really good together. I think we're really good at saying and showing the mirror to what the other person needs to see.
Yeah.
And like giving each other space to feel that. And I just wouldn't have been able to do this without you, so I'm just so grateful.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I was thinking we're basically family,
Yeah,
but it's the kind of family that's not mean to each other.
it's our chosen family.
Yeah. And it's just, it's really easy.
It's easy.
Yeah. I love it here.
I love it here too.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll cry after this. You guys
yeah,
don't have
we'll
to
cry
watch.
later.
Yeah, we'll get a room.
Yeah.
So where do you see peach honey in either getting through tomorrow or in the future, you know?
Yeah. Right now, I'd like to get through this weekend of orders, which don't seem to stop, which I thank you. If you guys are ordering peach honey right now, wow. I mean, this is like all I've ever wanted. My mom was like, you finally pulled the slot machine and it's like going after how hard you work.
Ding, ding,
so
ding, ding, ding.
I would love my dream, obviously, step one is like keep this momentum and just keep running with it. And I'm really hopeful that this year I'm able to bring on some help to start hiring some people. It feels like a really big year of expansion for me and for this brand and for us, Susan and I, to really take this company to the next level. And I say company as it's like a file cabinet and a desk in my apartment.
And Susan with no thumbs.
And Susan with no thumbs. And just really hopeful that this is a period of leveling up is what it feels like. And we're expanding our product line. We're doing gummies and we're doing a spring gooey bag that's dropping really soon. And we, Susan and I, our brand. This is all self-funded. I took on a little bit of investment that time in COVID when I thought it was going to be skincare, and it was friends and family, and it was a very small amount that I'm very hopeful I'll be able to pay back and then some this year. Don't hold me to it if I can't. I promise your money is coming, and I appreciate your patience. And I'm really proud that this is a self-funded venture. Aside from that little chunk in the beginning, everything that I've been able to keep and monetize in the business stays in it, and I'm excited for the next phase of growth and being able to continue to expand that product line and have it just be Susan and I own an equity in it kind of
on
thing.
a yacht.
And I swear to God, if Mama can't buy the Rolex she wants this year, I'm gonna lose it.
She
will. I will.
Yeah,
because I want it and I work really hard for it.
Yeah, because everything you've done has led up to obviously
this moment.
Duh.
Yeah, I've been working really hard, so I'm proud to see it come into fruition.
I have no doubts.
Thanks, honey buns. Well, I think it's time for my question of the day, which is my favorite experience in this podcast, and I think catches you off guard every time. It catches me off guard. I never know what I'm going to say.
I'm like, do you come up with these on the spot or do you prep?
No, I've never thought about it once. I never think about it once. Well, even if I did, it all goes out my brain in this moment. My question for you today is, what is your perfect date? Like, what's like if some guy that you want to go on a date with, that you actually like, asked you out on a date, what would be the most ideal scenario for you?
Okay, I'm channeling the Callie that believes in love.
Which I love for you, and you're gonna, he's gonna always be here forever, and you and you love it so much. This is also coming from two girls who have not been on a date in a very long time. It's been years since I've been on a date. I voluntarily.
Yeah.
I've just said no to a lot of people I don't want to go on a date with.
I feel like I've been on every type of date. Anytime I meet a guy, I'm like, I know exactly how this is going to go.
I've thrown myself down the mountain a time or two.
It's interesting if you ask me this, like, I would say pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I would have. I think at this point, I'm assuming I've spoken to this man a little bit.
You know him. Yeah. You like him. You're interested in going on a date. You're having a chit chat. And he's like a little crush. And you're hopeful.
So I think
there's hope and awe and wonder in this.
I do not know if this is a bar is in hell moment, but it seems like it'd be suffice for me.
Okay.
But if whatever that conversation I've had with that man, he takes something from that conversation that maybe I wouldn't have even thought was, that apparent, and then incorporates it into his plan. Or maybe he, like I mentioned, I like grapes and he brings me some grapes. Like how weird, but
which is something you often talk about.
Just like proving that you've listened and thought about someone other than yourself.
Yeah, something intentional and thoughtful.
Yeah. And I'm like, that could be grand or the tiniest thing, but it would mean the same to me.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. That's really nice.
If I ever talk to a man again. But
well, and we're working on it. Yeah. Lord willing. I like it.
What about you, other than April 23rd?
April 23rd, all you really need is a light jacket. My dream date at this point, I hate that I even have to say it at this point, but I don't mean that in like
After the war.
after the war. I don't mean that in like an air of desperation, but in a like you said, we've seen a lot of shit. I know, like it's not for lack of people asking me out. It's just random men in my DMs. Like I don't want to go on dates with these people. No offense, love you.
Yeah. Some of you might be good, but like the data
is not there, and also the idea. I mean, sidebar: the idea of dating somebody who came as like someone who perceived me from the internet purely as like a, I don't want to say a fan, but someone who's just like watching me on the internet, doesn't know me.
Just in those moments.
That's a weird energy to walk into. So really all I really want as someone who is in charge of her business and her life and everything that happens for someone to just fucking take a little authority, take a little charge. Yeah. Go, hey babe, I made reservations. Friday night at 7.
Turn this off for a couple minutes.
All I want to do is turn it off. I feel like my day to day, I'm in my divine masculine and divine feminine. I'm cleaning the house and I'm making a cute girly pop video and then I'm running the business and I'm, working with our email marketer and I'm doing all of these things. And I just want to not think for a second. I want to feel like I'm in my divine feminine and I don't have to take charge, and you're going to open my door and you're going to pick me up and you're going to tell me I look nice and you're going to pay for dinner because I guarantee you all the makeup on my face costs way more than this meal. And I worked really hard on it.
Yeah.
And I just want to be in my divine feminine. And that's not to say like I expect to be in a partnership where I'm just taken care of, because I also bring so much to the table and I know I have a lot to offer in like caring for a partner. But I just need you to plan a date. Yeah.
50-50 in the relationship. But
date one, you need to show up and show out.
But I think like, well, we'll talk about this on the next episode. We'll
talk
about
next episode.
Like,
we'll get into it.
Yeah, that was a teaser.
That was just a little teaser of what you can expect next week. So anyway, tune in next week for more of why we want men to just handle things for once.
Yeah. And amongst many other a topic that we're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about the shit we've seen.
The shit we've heard.
But yeah. I think that's all she wrote.
I think that feels really nice. I think it feels really good. Like, subscribe, comment, love us.
If you
love us, buy us something.
Press all the buttons. If you're trying to do something like what we're doing and you have any questions, DM us. You know, we love a little mentor moment. If we could, give any advice. I mean, obviously we haven't cracked the code, but I really don't think there's a specific code.
Nobody's cracked the code. That's the whole thing. Just figuring it out.
Yeah. So DM us, comment, like, subscribe, love us.
Love me.
Anyways. Love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye. Okay, cute.